sunsets never come across as spectacular as they look in real life. Oh, the oranges and the pinks to the blue, so beautiful. But what I popped outside very quickly to show you was this. How gorgeous does the moon look tonight? Oh, she is absolutely stunning. And I mean, as always, it looks so much smaller on camera than in real life. Oh wow, I do love a full moon. You can hear all the crickets. Anywho, I just thought I'd very quickly pop outside to share the sunset with you and this incredible full moon. I am going to pick up the camera tomorrow and we will be spending the day together gardening and just, yeah, I've got so much gardening I need to try and tackle tomorrow. I also want to give you a bit of a cottage house tour update. So yeah, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. This is probably a very unusual start to a video for me. I apologize for the sunglasses. The sun, she be shining today. It is gorgeous blue skies, but I was super excited. So I just wanted to come on very quickly before I head home. I mentioned on Wednesday that I was kind of considering attending my first yoga class in 15 years. And I am very pleased to say that I took the plunge and I have just finished the class. So I'm sitting in my car, as you can see, and it was incredible. It is amazing how many of the names of the positions that I could actually remember from 15 years ago. My flexibility obviously wasn't what it was 15 years ago, but hopefully with a regular sort of practice that will improve. You know, over the weeks and months to come. And it was a really small class, which was nice. There were only 3 of us in the class. So the instructor sort of had the opportunity to definitely kind of come around and spend a bit of time with everyone, correct your positions, which I think is lovely. And I definitely think is one of the benefits of going to a class as opposed to doing something at home. The fact that, you know, an instructor is there and they can correct your, you know, placement of your hand or your knee, etc. So it was really good. I definitely felt like I got a workout. I normally sort of do weights and cardio, and I've got a weights and cardio routine that I do probably 3 or 4 times a week that I'm really comfortable with and I'm really happy with. But I definitely just find I've not been getting a lot of stretching in, and I've noticed my flexibility isn't the best, which is why I was considering doing the Pilates. And as I said, taking the plunge. I bought a pack. There is, I'm very, very lucky. There is actually a yoga and Pilates studio fairly close to where I live, so I didn't even have to travel far, which was brilliant. And again, apologize for the hair being slicked back. I just wanted it out of my face this morning when I was doing the class. So, but yeah, it was really incredible. I think it's nice. And I guess this is a little bit of a, you know, reminder for all of you as well. It is the middle of the year now. You know, we're 6 months down, and I think it's such a great opportunity to kind of reassess and reset where you are. So it's something that I like to do, and sort of what I'm doing over the next couple of weeks, and that is kind of just reassessing my health, my nutrition, my fitness, and just making sure I'm really happy with how everything's going. I'm happy with, you know, the exercise routine that I do. Is that making me feel really healthy and, you know, giving me strength and flexibility and those sorts of things? How is my nutrition in that? Am I getting, you know, a really great assortment of, you know, all of my vitamins and minerals and my proteins and, you know, all that kind of, you know, good stuff? And am I having nice little treats and just, yeah, that kind of thing? And I think it's, you know, that midpoint of the year. I think a lot of people put a lot of focus at the beginning of the year and they sort of don't do that midpoint check-in. Anyway, so this is your reminder to definitely do a bit of a mid-year check-in with yourself and just, you know, are you happy with your nutrition? Are you feeling really happy and healthy? And, you know, are you getting good food and, you know, good quality, yummy, delicious food? And are you feeling, you know, healthy in yourself? And yeah, so sort of in doing my little assessment of myself, I just felt, as I said, I'm really happy with the sort of weights and cardio routine I do. I'm really comfortable with that and really happy with it. But I just feel like my flexibility is just not great. And as I'm getting older, it is sort of, yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but you know, you just notice my muscles are just a little bit tight. I'm feeling my back. Sometimes, you know, my lower back will seize up a little bit, and I just feel like maybe my flexibility could be better. So I have added a yoga class to my routine. My goal is to kind of just do one yoga class each fortnight. I think that that's going to be manageable for me, and then kind of keeping my weights and cardio sort of 3 times a week. I think it's just a really good balance. It's not over the top, but it just means that, you know, I've got some, you know, strength and muscle tone and all of that for, gosh, for getting older. And yeah, just kind of reassessing my diet and just making sure, you know, I'm eating well and eating in a way that makes me feel really good and makes me really happy in that. So anyway, oh my gosh, I've just fully digressed there. I apologize. I just really wanted to come on because I was very excited, and just to say the class was incredible. I really enjoyed it, and I was pleased with how many of the yoga positions I could remember, and obviously very hopeful and quietly hopeful that over the coming weeks and months my flexibility might improve. But yeah, it was really good and such a lovely way to start the morning. And today was very fresh this morning, but it is a beautiful day. So I am going to head home now. So I will talk to you again when I get home. Let's get out into the garden on this truly gorgeous day and enjoy some of the sunshine. Well, I am back home from yoga. And as I said earlier, it is just a glorious day today. Wall-to-wall sunshine, no clouds at all. And while it is very fresh inside the house, the sun is actually quite warm outside, so it's making it a very pleasant day. What I thought, 2 things I basically would like to achieve today. Sorry, I'm distracted by the bees. Let me just have a little look-see here at my little friends. Look at how much activity there is. So, as I was saying, 2 main things to tackle today. I desperately want to hedge in here. I think we're going to do that first. So this one here, this one, and probably this one here, which you might not be able to see in the sunlight. This one here, there you go, in the back as well. So I just want to hedge them and kind of shape them a little bit, take the height down. So I'm going to try and tackle that first. Now, my green bin is pretty much full, so I actually don't have a lot more room for garden sort of clippings and that. So I think we'll just kind of tackle this little section today. And then the other thing that I would like to do is just pot on the sage. Gosh, I don't know if I've shown you these already in this video, but look at these roses. How incredible are they? Gosh. And the trumpet vine is just starting to flower. So you can see I've got all buds here. And then if you kind of come around, you can see just here. See the little orange flowers starting? So pretty soon this will be covered in orange flowers. Gosh, the pumpkin definitely needs a tidy up down the end. All of these leaves have died off. Needs a big tidy. But it is looking really good. None of the actual, I mean, I've got hundreds of pumpkins on here, but none of the pumpkins seem to have taken. The vine seems to be rejecting them, but I have noticed, so you can sort of see here how it's going yellow. But I have noticed recently the flowers have been opening up a lot more. So I'm hoping that means that the pollinators will be hard at work and I may get a pumpkin at some point. I'm keeping an eye. I think on Wednesday I showed you I've got some tomatoes coming in. I've got 2 in there. Oh, there you go. There's one right at the back and then one sort of just in front of it going red. So they're going to be very delicious in salads. But even in this cold weather, we are still getting pests. So I'm just making sure I'm keeping on top of the sort of bagging the tomatoes. Poor little spinach is definitely coming back though, but still getting eaten. Like in this weather too, what I need to do is get like a little seat, get myself all comfy with a cup of tea and sit out here and very, very slowly kind of almost look under all of the leaves and pull off any of the caterpillars. Because I'm pretty sure it is caterpillars. From what I can tell. I have managed to pull a few off. But I just really need to keep up with that pest spray. So, just coming over here, oh my goodness, look at all the new little leaves coming up on the climbing spinach. Anywho, my sage, which is just in this pot here, is doing so well. I think it's doubled in size. So this little pot was a temporary one, just when I bought the seedlings. So I just want to pop this onto the wooden pot that we bought on Wednesday. So that is the other thing. I want to do the hedge trimming and then I want to pop this on. The lemon balm is also looking really great. I can probably start eating that. Or rather drinking it. I intend to put it in my tea. I will say my snack capsicum seedlings have not done well. And I'm pretty sure they're almost gone over. I think I started them too late. I think they came up a bit too close to winter and the very cold weather has done them in. But now that I kind of know how to grow them, hopefully these 2 little snap capsicum bushes will get some capsicums on them and I can keep the seeds. I do have some seeds inside that weren't refrigerated, so maybe when the warmer weather comes I will try and start up some seedlings again. So I'm just wondering whether I can kind of get rid of this pot. I'm not loving it in this position. Maybe I'll do that as well today. Maybe I can repurpose some of that soil for the sage pot. Alright, well, no more procrastinating. I do have other things to do today. So let's get into the pruning back first, I think. believe that I was just getting the camera set up then, and then I looked down at the tripod and there was a little cricket on the tripod. It was very cute. So I've just rehomed him, and I'm not gonna lie, we got carried away with the cutting back. Once we got started, we basically have done the entire bed now except for the white crepe myrtle, the red crepe myrtle. I don't know where all of this garden rubbish is going to go, unfortunately. As I said, the bin is full, so I might just have to kind of keep it in the garden bags until it's emptied and I can top it up. But I will sort of show you what that area looks like once I'm done here. But while I had sort of my momentum going, I thought we would very quickly pot on the sage. I have relocated the snack capsicum seedlings. They don't get as much sun in this position, so I've actually moved them over towards the citrus in the hope that maybe getting more daylight hours and like more sun exposure might help them sort of speed up their growth. They're a little bit stunted at the moment. So anyway, we will see. But what that has meant is I've had a little rejig of the pots here. Again, I'll give you a better look maybe a little bit later on, but just, yeah, so I'm sort of happy with that little cluster of pots. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm sort of just looking. I don't know how I feel about the white pots. I'm hoping eventually the lemon balm will get big and kind of drape over that pot, because I don't love it with all the sort of wooden pots, the wooden look kind of pots. That is a problem for another day. That is not my focus today. My focus today is getting some potting mix for that pot over there, and then getting in the sage seedlings so that they can grow up big and strong and I can start using them. All right, so I have the soil. I'm just conscious, I don't want to fill it all the way because I've obviously got soil in this pot already. You can smell the sage. It smells so good. Oops. They've got quite good root systems on them, which is great. It. Don't like them to be, like I don't like the soil levels to be too high in the pot, because it means as they get a little bit taller, the sort of sides of the pot almost act as like a bit of a support. sure sage actually gets quite large, but I'm hoping if I'm just cutting it back regularly, I can kind of maintain a smaller size in this pot here. Worst comes to worst, I can always gift the sage plant to somebody. As in, you know, one of the plants and that, if they all get massive, I can always have little gifts to people of little sage plants. All right. There you go. It is in. Whew. Alrighty. That's probably all I'm going to get done in the garden today. It's probably about 1 o'clock now, 1:30. So I'm just going to clean up my mess now, and then I'll give you a little quick garden tour just to give you an update on what that garden bed is looking like now that it's had its full winter prune back. And then we're going to head inside, and as I said on Wednesday, I want to give you a bit of a sort of cottage tour. I've got some really pretty new in artwork that I have finally managed to hang up on the wall, so I thought I'd give you a little tour around and just show you a few of those new in pieces, because I'm very happy with them and I'm very happy with how they are looking in the house at the moment. So let me just get tidied up and then I'll give you a quick look around and then we'll head inside. Okay, so as I said, once we started, we got a little bit carried away because over here there were actually a couple of places, you can see here where this hole is, there were actually a few places that had some quite like dead branches. So I've cut out the dead branch there, and then this one here had quite a significant at the back. It was quite dead, I think because the coleus was growing in quite close to it. So I had to cut that out, and then it looked funny. So I sort of had to take it down to a level so it all kind of looked a bit symmetrical. Anywho, that is how it is looking now. As bare as it does look, and a little bit sad as it looks, hopefully in only a matter of weeks or months it'll all kind of flush back out and, you know, look really full and lush again. But pretty much this whole bed, I also kind of just did a few, like a little bit of trimming around here as well, just kind of taking the tops off, shaping it, that kind of thing. I also, these got quite a big haircut. So this whole section is pretty much done now for the winter pruning. The only thing that still has to be done is the red crepe myrtle over here. But as I've said, I don't have any more room in the green bin, so I'm not going to be able to tackle that at this stage. I'll have to wait for the bin to get emptied before that gets cut back. But otherwise, I am really happy with how it's looking. I definitely need to get the leaf blower out just to kind of, you know, I've tried to pick up all like the little bits and bobs and sweep and things like that. Mum helped, and it's looking good, but it just needs a bit of a leaf blow. So we'll try and tackle that later today. But yeah, this is the transformed little space. So that's kind of one garden bed done. Now I'll just have to kind of move on to all the other ones. Gosh. Oh, it always looks so sad at this time of year. I have to keep telling myself they are much happier as a result, and they will grow back more beautiful and lush. Alright, well let's head inside now, and I might give you a little tour around and I'll show you sort of the little new in pieces and how they are looking on the walls. So I've got lunch in the oven, And I thought whilst I was waiting for it to heat up, we would do a quick little wander around the house and I would show you those few little art pieces that I mentioned. So I'm just in my bathroom here, so apologies if there's a bit of an echo, but these are the wall tiles. So we actually purchased this one together a few weeks back now up at Montville Mullaney, but these are the two other ones that I already had, and I just think the three of them are such a spectacular set, and they really fill this wall. I can't, unfortunately, the bathroom is not massive, so I actually can't step back any further than what I am now, but you can see that sort of, they fill this wall really well, and because they're almost like a tile, I think that they really sort of suit those sort of humid areas. I think they'll work really well in here. But I'm happy, I'm over the moon with how it looks. It adds a lot of color into this space. Previously it was quite plain in terms of color. So I'm very happy to have this sort of bright element in here. These really gorgeous sort of almost European village scenes. They definitely remind me of like France or Italy and that kind of, yeah. So I'll give you a little close up. So you can, hopefully you can kind of see that they are sort of a raised, how the tile is made, it is actually raised. I just think, and like, look at these florals here. The detail, I mean, you know, to the houses and the mountains, the water, how it's all done. Like the little chair here, little cafe setting. I think that that's really pretty. And so while I actually purchased these all at different times over the years, they kind of feel like a set to me in terms of like location. Like I feel like the inspiration for all three could have been from, you know, one sort of small European town. So this is the most recent one that we bought together. So if you've been subscribed for a little while, you will remember this one. And again, like all the florals, the baluster, I think I love them, obviously. I purchased them, but I just think they are so beautiful. And then this one here with like the walkway here and then all of the bridges and the flowers, like it's got very sort of Venetian vibe. And like the little tiny boat. It's one of those things, the more you look at it, the more you kind of take out, like, yeah. Anyway, I just think they are so pretty. And again, they're all in that kind of raised sort of tile. So it took me quite a number of weeks to get these up on the wall, but they are up now and I am so unbelievably happy with them. They really brighten this space. And like, it's simple as, you know, when I'm in the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth, we have to see these reflected in the mirror while I'm brushing my teeth, and they just give the bathroom color, some warmth, and just a little sort of point of interest, I think. Bathrooms to me can often be quite difficult to add interesting pieces to, because particularly in Australia we get such high humidity here, so you have to be very careful with what you're sort of putting in a bathroom environment in terms of it getting mold and that sort of thing. So these will definitely be brilliant in here, really easy to wipe down, you know, and keep and care for, but so happy. So we'll kind of move into the next section now. As I said, I don't have heaps of pieces, but I just thought a few have come in and I've managed to get them up on the wall, so I would share them. And just whilst we're walking past, I just thought I would show you this little console table in the better light. So we actually assembled this together only a few weeks ago, and I sort of just styled it up here. I haven't really changed any of the styling. I have to say I'm actually quite happy with it, how it is. But the lighting, I think when I was showing this to you, was terrible that day. I think it was raining. But yeah, so this is what it's looking like in the beautiful sunlight. I just think everything, like I think it all came together really well. I'm so happy with how it sort of filled in this space, and it's definitely brightened the lounge room area there behind it. And just added again some intrigue. It was also very practical because this basket here, you can kind of just see here these little scissors. I use them daily. So I tend to go out this side door here to get to the kitchen garden when I'm doing salads and that, to get, you know, spinach and spring onions and tomatoes and things. So having that little harvest basket there with a pair of scissors is very handy indeed. Yeah, really happy with how that turned out, and so surprised with how easy it was to assemble. We sort of assembled it together and it was, yeah, very easy. And you'll notice that the new console table actually matches this console table here, which is why I just thought they were just a really pretty set, and I thought they would do well together in the same space. This console table I have actually had since I lived in the city, so I've had it for quite a number of years. So I was, yeah, blown away that I was able to get a console table recently that matched. Oh, there is the lunch bell. So I actually don't have that much more to show you, so I will quickly do that. So I did want to just show you, actually I did get a new clock for the wall. As you can see, it is quite late for lunch, but I got a new clock for the wall. Oh gosh, you're getting the reflection there. So I've got this very pretty countryside scene here with this incredible wooden circular sort of frame. I loved it. The second I saw it, there's something so calming about the actual piece itself. Those hills, the flowers, like just, yeah, the wildflowers, the trees. We've got a lot of landscapes quite close to where I am that look very similar to this. So I just, yeah, thought that was really pretty. And I'm gonna see if I can, which angle can I, oh gosh. Oh, that's going to be terrible. Oh, that's a little bit better. I apologize. You're going to get it backlit. But just so you can kind of see again, this really pretty sort of frame, the wildflowers, gorgeous sky and the trees. I thought both of those made such a nice set. But I would still like another piece for sort of in here, but I haven't found the right one yet. So still on the lookout for that. And then sort of just on the other side of this display cabinet here, I picked up these. I actually really love the frames, and this is sort of the part of the kitchen. So these botanical prints with the strawberries and the cherries, I absolutely love them. I love the red, the greenery of it all. It leads really nicely into the dining room. The dining room definitely has a little bit of like a red theme to it. So the dining room is sort of through that way. So I think the transition is really nice. And I think the strawberries and cherries and sort of those edible botanicals really go nicely with the kitchen theme as well. So I'll give you a little kind of close up. You can see that's got the name there of what they all are. And you can see, if you've been sort of following along, you'll know I've been painting frames around the house. So you can kind of see where I'm getting my inspiration for the repainting of the frames. But yeah, I thought these were just very pretty with the illustrations and then sort of the common name and then the botanical name on them. So they are the other little new in pieces. I thought I would just take a little step back into the kitchen so you can kind of see what they look like all together. I'm so happy with how it's looking. But as I said, I just feel like there's something else is needed just in here. So I'll keep my eye out and hopefully we'll find something that is suitable. But yeah, over the moon with how it is looking. I just think it adds a lot more character and like that cozy sort of vibe having artwork up on the walls. So the last little piece that I wanted to show you was just this one here in the entryway. So I definitely want some additional pieces for in here. I'm thinking sort of maybe over through here, but I just thought that was so bright and vibrant for when you first kind of come in. And similar to what I've said about the other pieces, I think it just adds a bit of color and a bit of character into this space. So I don't want it to feel cluttered, but I definitely think having some other sort of like smaller pieces around here would be very nice. So I'm kind of keeping my eye out for that. But I will, this one actually does have art glass on it, so you are getting a bit of a reflection. Not all of them have glass, some do, some don't. But this is the last one I'm going to show you today. I do have a couple of other pieces, but I haven't decided on where they're going to go on the wall yet. So I will share them with you once I pop them on the wall. But I'll see if I can get somewhat close. Well, if I sort of go on an angle, you get it a little bit better. I do have the overhead light on. We are getting quite late in the afternoon now, and so the light is just sort of not on this side of the property anymore. But again, one of those situations where the more you look at something, the more little details you pick up. But just, yeah, a very happy sort of bright print for when you walk in the front door. Well, on that note, I am going to bid you farewell. I've just come outside. I'm probably going to hose the kitchen garden and just a few of the other little plants that need a little bit of extra attention. But I hope you have enjoyed coming with me today. I'm trying to remember the day, gosh. Oh, we started at yoga this morning. Oh my goodness, how could I have forgotten that? Yes, yoga was incredible this morning. I'm so pleased that I decided to do that. And it's definitely going to be something that I enjoy moving forward. We kind of came back. We've done a lot of gardening today. It's all gotten very well pruned. So this is going to look so lush and healthy in the coming weeks. And then, yeah, I've shown you some of the new in art pieces. I'm definitely not someone that knows a lot about art. I just very much know what I like and what I don't like, and I tend to just buy the things or the pieces that I enjoy and that make me happy and make me smile. So they may not be to everyone's taste, but I definitely think art is just one of the it's such a personal thing, art. I definitely am someone who likes more landscapes and I mean, obviously you will have seen that from what I've just shown you. A lot of the pieces are quite landscapes, quite a lot of landscapes I should say, but as I said, I do have I think 3 other pieces that I've collected over the last few months, and I will show you those once I've decided sort of on the finished locations and I've got them up on the wall. It does take a little bit to get them up on the wall. Gosh, how beautiful are these? With the little yellow centers. Anywho, on that note, I'm going to go water the garden and listen to the birds get settled for the night. So I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I will see you next week. I hope you have a truly amazing rest of your week. Bye.